Sandbox MMA fans, UFC Noche, UFC 306, Riyadh season, whatever the fuck Dana's calling it right now, at the Sphere is here. I'm giving you my picks and predictions for the entire card. Going with the first fight. We're going to finish with the main event. Again, giving my picks, giving my thoughts, giving my breakdown to how I think each fight will go. Now, what I will start off by saying is Dana White has significantly overhyped this. This isn't by any means a bad card. Very top-heavy. The top three fights on the card are amazing. Zellhuber versus Ribovic is a fun fight. Should be on an Apex fight night, or should be on a fight night in general. Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne is early prelims of a fight night level, so don't know why those are on the main card, but the prelims actually do have some good fights, and we're going to go through them. I'm going to give you my picks for all of them. Now, I'm usually a big underdog hunter. Warning you, I'm going to go with a lot of Mexicans on this card, and a lot of them are favored to win because I think that the judges could be cooking for the Mexican crowd, and I think that's what Dana wants, and we are going to get started with the first fight of the night. Raul Rosas Jr., one of the more promising, we'll say, young Mexican prospects. He's 19, tremendous grappling, very physically strong, no striking, but he's getting a favorable matchup here in Arichi Long. I don't think Arichi Long is actually good at defending takedowns at all. Especially against someone like Raul Rosa, who transitions very quickly, has great jiu-jitsu, and can transition to the back very quickly. I think he's going to be able to rush Ariche Long, land a couple of big body kicks specifically, land a couple powerful left hands, because I think he stands in the southpaw stance predominantly. He has switch stance, but he likes to stand southpaw a lot. I think he lands a couple of those big left hands, lands those body kicks, shoots for a takedown, gets it stuffed initially, but transitions his way to the back, and then drags Arichi Long to the ground and submits him with a rear naked choke in round one. I'm going submission round one. Raul Rosas, another layup for him, getting the fight started with a minus 950 favorite. Nice. Next up, we're going Edgar Chairez or Joshua Van. I'm going Joshua Van. I like him a lot more as a fighter. I think his skill set is very, very good, but I do not like that he is taking this fight on such short notice after getting knocked out by Charles Johnson. That was 2 months ago. That's going to be, right, so it was July, then we get to, yeah, it's 2 months ago. 2 months ago from the fight card, like 2 months and a day from when he got knocked out by Charles Johnson. Don't love that. Edgar Chairez also has the reach. I would also reckon that Edgar Chairez has the jiu-jitsu advantage, but I don't think he's going to be able to take Joshua Van down, so I do think this predominantly takes place on the feet. Edgar Chairez can crack, and at minus 235, I am not betting on Joshua Van, but I do think that he's in a situation where he can win this fight. I don't think Edgar Chairez is this crazy good fighter. I really don't like this situation for Joshua Van, though. I think there's a very good chance he can get knocked out because his chin's just not fully refreshed. I think Chairez can land really good knees. And I think he's got speed and he's got some power. But I think Joshua Van is going to be able to cut the cage off, use pressure, and be able to just work the body shots of Edgar Chairez and land some good punches. I'm going Joshua Van to win at 29-28 decision. Call me crazy. This is going to get dicey. We could see a sketchy scorecard go to Chairez. I'm going to go split decision, Joshua Van here. But the scorecard that goes to Chairez is going to be a wrong scorecard. I'm also going to see that there are moments in which Joshua Van gets rocked by Edgar Chairez, whether it be a clinch knee or something like that. I can see a lead knee landing on the chin of Joshua Van, and he gets wobbled and gets seriously hurt and loses a round because of it. And I think it would happen early. So I'm going with Joshua Van to win a split decision here, but I am very, very aware that Edgar Chairez is a live dog at plus 190 in this fight, especially with it being short notice for Josh Van. Yasmin Jauregui versus Ketlin Souza. I actually think Ketlin Souza has a significant power advantage here. And I think she's going to tag Yasmin Jauregui a couple times. But I do think Jauregui is going to pull away with a decision and get the lovely scorecards in her favor. I think it's going to be a 29-28 Jauregui decision where we're all pretty concise that it's 29-28. But you're going to see that a judge or two has 30-27 Jauregui because they want her to win. This is a Mexican-themed card. They're going to just gift wins to the Mexicans. But I do think Jauregui is going to end up winning this fight by decision. Very aware of the power of Ketlin Souza. Very aware of the fact that she likes to throw quick hooks, and she is not that chinny. Like, she can take shots, and Yasmin Jauregui doesn't have a lot of pop in her shots. But she does have speed, she does have great timing, and sometimes that works really good. As Conor McGregor said, it's precision beats power and timing beats speed. I think Jauregui's got the speed. I think she's got the timing as well, though. So I just think she's going to outland Ketlin Souza and do more in those later two rounds to win the fight. I'm going Jauregui by decision. Next up, Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This fight is awesome. This is an awesome fight. I would rather this on the main card than the Rodriguez fight or the Zellhuber fight. I think that Manuel Torres is legitimately the best prospect out of Mexico. He's super talented, powerful, violent. But Ignacio Bahamondes is a dog, and I think he can use his range really well, and I think he is significantly getting better and better each fight. But Manuel Torres, while I think he has a lot of power, I think that the striking advantage does go to Ignacio Bahamondes here, especially with being able to mix up the kicks, and I think he will mix up the kicks pretty well. But I am going to go with Manuel Torres to get on the inside, have better pure boxing, and then be able to drag this fight to the ground when it gets a little dicey for him on the feet. I can see this getting dicey for Torres on the feet, him taking it to the ground and then working his jiu-jitsu and wrestling there. I have a weird feeling that Ignacio might pull this off, but I am going to go with Manuel Torres based off the fact that if it gets to the judges' scorecards, it will go to Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres to win this fight, and I do think he gets it done via submission in round 2. I think that the first round's close, competitive, but he sees that he had success at the end of round 1 with a takedown in the grappling, and he goes right to that in round 2, getting a choke. I'm going to go with a rear naked choke. I think he's going to be able to transition and get the back and choke out Ignacio Bahamondes, so I am going to go with Manuel Torres by submission. Very weary that Ignacio is a live dog here. We move on. Norma Dumont versus Irene Aldana. I'm going Norma Dumont, and I know that the scorecards could end up going Aldana's way, but the one great equalizer to what hometown cooking has is that bunda from Norma Dumont. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, they kind of want to push Norma Dumont a little bit. She's marketable. Very marketable. Big lower half. We love to see it. Cameramen are going to be working it this weekend. But let's move on to the actual fight. I do think that Norma Dumont will have moments where she stalls this fight out against the fence, lands some body knees, lands a couple of pitter-pat shots. When it gets to range and with the boxing, Irene Aldana is going to beat the piss out of her. But I can see Norma Dumont making this boring, getting it to the cage, dragging Irene Aldana against the ground, dragging her to the ground, and just being able to get this done with control time. And I think this is going to be one of those fights where we look at it and we go, damage beats control time, but the judges see it for Dumont this time, and I'm going to go with Norma Dumont to win a decision. Sketchy decision. I think we are all going to look at this fight and say Aldana won, and it's going to go to the judges' scorecards, and they're actually going to give it to Dumont. So I'm going to go with Norma Dumont by robbery decision. We get to the main card. Ronaldo Rodriguez, who has one UFC fight against Denise Bonder. One UFC fight in his career against Denise Bonder, found his way onto the biggest pay-per-view, the greatest live event of all time per Dana White. Found his way on the main card opener, Ronaldo Rodriguez, but not only that, who's he fighting? 12-7 Ode Osborne, who hasn't gotten a win since we invaded Vietnam, buddy. Let me tell you something about this guy, Ode Osborne, who sucks meat. Beat Adashev, who sucks. Beat him with a first-round knockout. Got knocked out by Tyson Nam, who sucks in the first round. Went to a split decision win with Charles Johnson. This is one of those split decisions that Johnson should have won, but they gave it to Ode Osborne. Then he gets subbed by Almabayev, subbed by Jafel Filho, and now he's getting Ronaldo Rodriguez, who has submissions in his arsenal, who is a faster, better, younger striker. I'm going to go with Ronaldo Rodriguez, and I'm going to go with him to get this fight done via a round 2 knockout. We're going Ronaldo Rodriguez. I think his boxing is going to look better than Ode Osborne's. I think that he's going to have a much better chin, and I think he's going to be able to out-pressure and outwork Ode Osborne in this fight and win with a second-round knockout. We're going Ronaldo Rodriguez, second-round knockout over Ode Osborne. This fight should be on the early prelims of a card that is full of shit. I don't know why it's on the main card of 306. We move on. This fight is actually sick. Does it deserve to be on the main card of this? Absolutely not. Nobody should be paying for it. But it's a sick fight. Esteban Ribovic versus Daniel Zellhuber. I'm going with Zellhuber to win a decision here, but I can see the second 2 rounds Ribovic's getting and then Zellhuber getting the robbery decision. I do think that Zellhuber's going to look good in that first round. He's going to look fast, and he's going to look powerful. If you want me to be honest, kickboxing, I think I like Zellhuber due to his range and his reach. Pure boxing, when they get in the pocket and start trading, Esteban Ribovic is much better than Zellhuber with that. He has power. He's coming off a couple wins in a row now. Sick knockout over Terrence McKinney. But Daniel Zellhuber, I think, is going to be able to kick the legs. I think he's going to be able to stay out of range with his jab enough moments in this fight to actually end up winning it. Again, I see a fight that could go to Esteban Ribovic on the scorecard, that should go to Esteban Ribovic on the scorecards, but just getting given to Daniel Zellhuber. So again, we're going decision. We're going Daniel Zellhuber. And we're going to Daniel Zellhuber decision, 29-28. Not even a split. This is going to be one of those fights where you look and you think it should be a split, but it goes unanimous to Zellhuber and you just feel dicey about it. So I'm going with Zellhuber to win this fight by decision. Do think he's pretty good. Do think this is a tough test. Reach might be a little much, and it's on Mexican Independence Day. We know what the home crowd likes to do. And we move on. Ortega being plus 145 is so tempting because if this fight gets to round 2 and 3, I can just see Ortega pulling away with it. I really can. But I'm going to go with Diego Lopez. I think he has the ability to crack. And this is going to be the same as my prediction for when they were supposed to fight at 303. I think the same thing is going to happen. Diego Lopez, people are making fun of him because he didn't look great against Dan Ige in the last round. Okay? Dan Ige is hard to put away. No one puts him away. He's hard to submit. He's hard to put away. He got out jiu-jitsu'd by Chang Sung-jang, the Korean Zombie, but he didn't get put away. He doesn't get put away by these top-level guys he fights. He has dynamite in his hands. He also got to fight at 160 pounds. Diego Lopez had to make weight 3 different times. He made 145. Then that next day, Ortega wasn't going to be able to make it, so he made 155. Then the next day, it wasn't Ortega fighting. He had to make 162.5, so he made it. He made weight 3 different times, went out there, still got the win. 29-28 got the win, definitely lost the last round. But dude, the guy's body was all over the place because of how many times he had to make different weights. So I'm not taking that one away from him. I think it goes in his favor. And I think that Dan Ige is a tough out for a lot of people. I really do think he is. I think he's hard to finish, whether it be on the feet or in the grappling. And I think he's super durable and he's a tough fighter. He is. And he's got good boxing too. He's got power in his hands. Diego Lopez won the decision. I think that he's going to be able to crack Brian Ortega early. And when this guy smells blood in the water, he doesn't stop. And I wouldn't put it past like a Mark Goddard to be officiating this fight and jumping in there a little bit early to stop it. Now, Mark Goddard might get the nod in the main event or the co-main event because I think the UFC has a little bit more of a dog in who wins those. But I'm going with Diego Lopez here. I am very aware that if this fight gets to round 2, Ortega can pull away in the striking in terms of volume and accuracy. I'm also very aware that if it gets to the ground, while Diego Lopez is great with jiu-jitsu, Brian Ortega finds his way to be better than most people at jiu-jitsu. So I'm very aware that there is a chance that Diego Lopez can lose this fight. Of course there is. I think it's closer than the odds are going to show. But when it gets to the fight, they get in there. I think Diego Lopez is going to put the pressure on right away. I think he's going to be able to make sure that Ortega's not shooting right away because I think he's going to threaten him with submissions if he does. And I also think that he's going to land the cracking shot on Ortega that gets Ortega hurt at the beginning of every fight. And this time, I don't think Ortega's getting out of there like he did against Yair, like he survived against Volk, like he survived until the end of the round against Holloway. I just don't see that happening here, man. I really don't. I'm going with Diego Lopez to win this fight via knockout in round 1. The finishing instincts of Diego Lopez is off the chart, and that's going to win him this fight. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. The fact that Grasso has become a favorite is kind of crazy to me, considering that Tino kind of won their last fight if the judges didn't fuck her over. But I just think it comes to a point in time where, like, the UFC is ready to move on from something. Like, if Valentina wins, the division gets a little weird. Like, yes, we have new people that she can fight, like Fiaro and then eventually Natalia Silva and stuff, but we've been doing this Grasso-Shevchenko dance for so long that if it ends with anyone other than Grasso winning, it just feels weird and wrong. And because of that, because the UFC literally is scripted and has storylines, taking that right out of the bedtime MMA book, I am going to go with Grasso to win a decision here. Think this once again is going to be a razor close fight. Think you're going to have some people screaming robbery, but I do think at the end of the day, Grasso's going to win this fight. In most logical people's eyes, she's going to win this fight. I think she can win it in the grappling in terms of her jiu-jitsu game. I think when it's on the feet, her boxing's better. Her kicks are not better than Valentina. but her boxing's better, and I think she's going to be able to tag Valentina a couple times and look good with those combinations. I think that Grasso's going to be able to win 3-4 rounds of this fight clearly. Not clearly. I think she's going to be able to win 3-4 rounds of this fight to the point where she won the fight. I'm going with Grasso to win this. 48-47, 48-47, 49-46, unanimous decision. Alexa Grasso wins this fight, retains, and then we get to move on from this trilogy of Grasso versus Shevchenko. So, again, think Shevchenko puts up a good fight. If she loses here, she's either going up to 135 to challenge like a Pennington, which I don't think she wants a smoke of Kayla Harrison once it gets to that point either, or she retires. I'm leaning towards a Valentina Shevchenko retirement if she loses here. So I'm going with Alexa Grasso to win a decision. Valentina Shevchenko retires. Next up on the card, it's the main event. It's Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about this tomorrow, diving deep into why I think O'Malley's going to win. I'm picking O'Malley. I'm picking him by knockout in round 2. And I think this is going to go very specifically one way. I think that Merab is going to run in thinking he's crazy and going to be able to shoot on O'Malley, and O'Malley stuffs him right away, right off the bat. And to make sure Merab doesn't keep shooting, I think he's going to feint a lot of stuff up the middle. Feint the uppercuts, feint the knees, feint the teep kicks, feint a lot of stuff up the middle, and I think that's going to allow him to land a 1-2 right on the cut of Merab Dvalishvili. For those of you that don't know, Merab has a cut before the fight right here. Sugar Sean is the best sniper in the UFC, period. He's going to be able to pick apart at that cut, reopen it up, and really start landing that 1-2 on Merab, and that cut is going to be gushing going into round 2. I think that you're going to see the feints work really well for O'Malley here. I really think he's just going to feint a lot of stuff up the middle, make Merab bite, and make Merab want to start getting... Merab's going to get frustrated and start throwing crazy, and that's where you're going to see O'Malley start to really tag him and clip him. Now everyone's saying it's going to be the left hook. I even posted a video of Merab getting clipped by the left hook twice. Do I think O'Malley lands a left hook? Yeah, but I don't think that's what's going to be tagging Merab. I think his right hand coming right down the middle, landing right on Merab's chin is going to be what gets him. I think Merab's going to rush in trying to hype the crowd up. I think Merab's a big crowd energy guy. I think he's going to try and hype the crowd up and rush in and strike with O'Malley, and he's going to get tagged a couple of times. That cut's going to get opened up. It's going to be gushing in round 2, like in between rounds 1 and 2. And I think they get back up there, and Merab's having trouble seeing in the round. O'Malley is still peppering at that cut, landing teep kicks. And Merab, the other thing, the reason why his wrestling's so good, it's really not. He doesn't have finishability on the ground. His jiu-jitsu game sucks. He can't get a submission for his life. His ground and pound is meh. He lands very, very little shot. Like, he throws volume, I guess. But it's not like he throws crazy power until he fights fucking Marlon Moraes. He just shoots takedowns relentlessly on people and has insane cardio. And that's what makes Merab good, is not any of his skill. It's how insane his cardio is and the pace that he can put on people. Merab has a big mark right here on his arm. Staph infection. It's clearly staph infection. What we know is when you get staph infection, you need to take antibiotics to get rid of it. What antibiotics does is drain your cardio, drain your gas tank. We saw this. Islam Makhachev looked slower against Dustin Poirier because he had staph. Benoit Saint Denis got knocked out against Dustin Poirier and got exhausted in that second round, because not fully because he had staph, because he goes in super open, but I think he could have finished that fight if he wasn't gassing out in round 1 with the grappling. So Poirier might be playing a little biological warfare on people here. And if you are, respect to Dustin, because I love watching him fight. But I don't think Merab's going to be able to push the pace that he usually does. I think that he thinks it's going to be okay. I think he's genuinely stupid enough to go in there and try and hype the crowd up by striking with O'Malley. And I think he's going to get peppered. And I think that right hand of O'Malley that comes in super fast after the jab is going to be what does him in. It's not going to be the uppercuts. He may land an uppercut, but I don't think it's going to be what tags him. I think he's going to feint a lot of those uppercuts, kind of like he did with Eddie Wineland, where he feints the uppercut and goes right over the top. If you see the Eddie Wineland knockout, it's a sick knockout. He literally goes feint over, right over the top, and I think you're going to see jabs land to keep Merab at range. I think you're going to see teep kicks to land at range, and then I think you're going to see a lot of those like jabs start to turn into feints, where he feints the jab and comes right in with the 2 super quick and tags Merab a bunch of times. We're going Sean O'Malley. We're going knockout round 2. There's a lot that O'Malley can do with a win here. You got Umar that you can look at fighting. I honestly don't hate him going up to fight Topuria or Holloway winner because I think that sells like crazy. But we'll get there when we get there. That's for the matchmaking video. That's for the videos of the future. Today, we're talking about the predictions for UFC 306. And Sean O'Malley is knocking Merab Dvalishvili out. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll leave a comment with timestamps. Shout out Quirky Parlays. Thanks for the recommendation. I'll start leaving some comments with timestamps for things you guys want to see. Thanks again for watching. Please like and sub.